I was hoping we could talk.
So your sister can take another cheap shot at me?
Next Wednesday.
I am not in Andy's head, but I can see that she is definitely still in your heart.
The accusations are flying.
You're the one who filed the complaint, didn't you?
You should see the way this man looks at her. He definitely wants to be more than colleagues with her.
We try to get Tamara and Hayden to snitch on each other, so one of them can tell us who tried to kill Gary.
I'm done being a supporting player.
Is that why you wanted to kill him? I cannot believe this.
Tyler Perry's.
Okay, Sistas fans, that was the trailer for next week's episode, Season 8, Episode 17, Call Me By His Name, which we now know is in relation to Hayden wanting Tamara to call him Gary. Alright, well here is the synopsis. Gary fights with Hudson to be released from his restraints. Meanwhile, Andy agrees to meet with Jordan face to face to settle their issues once and for all. I'm not really, Andy supporter this season, but the number of times, it's been just on site, whether it be Penelope or Jordan giving her an attitude, even when she's trying to actually help them, I wouldn't agree to meet at all. It's like, you know what? Hey, you begged me to get you help. I got Robin to help and he got your sister out. We're done. Like, there's really no need for us to interact whatsoever. And I can't even fathom why in the world the writers would put these two back together. Because in episode 18, the synopsis states that these two will discuss the future of their relationship. There doesn't need to be one. I want to be completely honest here. I mean, if nothing else, Jordan should realize any sort of future he has with Andy will just lead him down a path of even more, personal and professional destruction that he's endured already. Remember, this dude's campaign and political career is in shambles due to the mere proximity he has to the attempted murder investigation. But more to the point of the trailer, Gary fights with Hudson to be released from his restraints. So Hudson is like, you need to forget about Andrea Barnes. She's poison. Unlike her, I'll never betray you. Now, when I first saw the end credit promo, I'm like, wait a minute now. Hold up. Is Hudson about to make a move on Gary? Romantically? But I'm like, oh, wow, maybe that's not the case. I looked at the scene again. It kind of looked like it from that angle. But, it looked like he had a little handkerchief or something in his hand. He was maybe wiping something off Gary's face. Maybe it was just hey, calm down. I'll never betray you the way she has. So at first I'm like, yo, are we going to have that? Hudson really has a thing for Gary and that's why he's jealous of Andy. But I don't know. Maybe watch the scene again and I want to get your input on that. So in terms of, let's see here, Andy and Jordan. Jordan gives Andy a call. Can we talk? What? So your sister can take another cheap shot at me? She's taking a cheap shot at, I was going to say Andy's man, but Robin isn't her man. So there's that. But speaking of Penelope, picking up where we left off at the meeting, Penelope tells Robin, I'm not in Andy's head, but I can see that she's still in your heart. And I'm thinking, man, you got Jordan and Robin running around trying to get on Andy's good side and, get her to forgive them and take them back. And then the man that she's actually in love with is strapped to a hospital room, literally out of his mind. Simping ain't pimping, folks. Speaking of Jordan, I don't know if maybe Rich probably comes back from the bank after his hissy fit. He's like, look, you should see how he looks at her. It's more than just colleagues, I'm telling you. And I said the same thing. I mean, in the episode, I think it was Jordan that told Richard, you do tend to fly off the handle from time to time. Why don't you just sit down with Sabrina and have a talk with her about how this whole Damani situation is making you feel? And I said on Twitter, it doesn't matter, because even if Rich was cool as a cucumber and had a mature conversation with Sabrina about his legitimate reasons why he doesn't like Damani as a donor, because I feel like he really does want to be more than just work colleagues or a sperm donor, Sabrina's going to disregard it because, number one, she's going to think, Rich, you're just jealous because I want to have a kid and you don't want kids and Damani volunteered. Or in this situation, are you feeling insecure because you can't be my sperm donor, but Damani can be? His feelings are going to be downplayed. And then on top of that, Sabrina's going to act all innocent like, no, Rich, he just wants to help. No, that's not it at all. And it's clear Damani wants to be more than just friends. I mean, remember, Sabrina's like, well, at first she was like, you do know we're not co-parenting, right? Like, I just want you as a donor. And then when they were at the hospital, when she's with the girls and they meet Damani, she's like, oh no, Maurice, it's nothing going on. It's like, he's just a sperm donor. And Damani's like, yeah, of course. That's all it is. I'm just a donor. So Rich's feelings are valid, but one of the few things I did take away from Marie's, circle that made sense was man's rejection is God's protection. So it might be in both her and Rich's best interest that he isn't a viable candidate for, the sperm donation. Now, aside from that, you have Miss Lisa, and I'm like, oh, snap. I think this could be the first time we're legitimately seeing her going off on Karen. So she catches Karen coming back from the sister circle meeting, and Lisa goes off like, what? You're just going to constantly ignore the doctor about avoiding stress and taking time to get your bed rest. Well, Andy, I went to see Andy because she needed me. She goes, F Andy. I'm like, whoa. And I'm like, dang, Miss Lisa. Now, for me, I'm actually going to defend Andy for one of the rare occurrences in season 8. She told Karen, I want to put you on speaker. Meaning that, hey, there's this sister circle thing. I know you're on rest right now after, your false labor thing. So I'm just going to put you on speakerphone. Karen was the one that waddled her butt out of the door. Andy said, I'm going to put you on phone. That's it. Honestly, all the girls could have been on speakerphone, to be honest. But no, Karen was the one who opted to get up and leave. So now Lisa ain't playing. And I like this because we might see Karen on lockdown because in last night's episode, Lisa had some luggage saying, I got extra clothes so I can stay with you for as long as you need. But given that her daughter slipped out when Lisa went to go check on the salon, that lets me know Lisa ain't playing. So I hope Lisa sticks around for a change instead of her simply saying I'm going to be here for a while. Then she gets called back to, the VA office or, military or basically her job calling her back. No, let her stay and then keep Karen under lock and key. That's what I'm looking forward to. Or at least that's what I hope actually happens. Now, in regards to Karen's reaction to Lisa going off, she's like, I can't believe this. Oh, yeah, you're finally getting some talking to. Because I said in the episode, the way Lisa was stern with Pam, I'm like, wow, too bad she isn't that stern with her own daughter. Now, over at the airport, because there's only 2 things to talk about. You got Leonard looking smug with some iced coffee in his hand. And then Danny realized like, oh, okay, so you're the one that filed that complaint, huh? Yeah, that's right, because I'm more qualified than you. I should have been in that leadership program. I would have earned that spot in the program by my merit, where you earned it by laying on your back. Danny's like, well, you know what? I'm going to have you laying on your back if you keep talking to me crazy like that. And then it gets to the point where Danny hits the cup and then his drink flies all over his face and whatnot. So we do know that in one of these episodes, Danny is going to be in trouble and loses her job. So I feel like she probably gets fired for this. And as a result, that could lead to a wrongful termination lawsuit. And that could be why, Danny needs Andy to represent her against the airport. So I'm thinking that's what's going on here. Now, the final thing is Zack and Fatima, and they're discussing their situation. The clock is ticking. Zack says, look, what if we get Hayden or Tamara to kind of snitch on one another and tell us who stabbed Gary? That way we can present it to Agent Watt and save both of our behinds from getting arrested. So then we go over to Hayden's place, and it's kind of intense. So, Hayden's like, I want you to call me something different. Ooh, what, baby? And then he grabs her by the throat, Gary. And I'm like, oh, snap. And then he goes, look, I'm done being a supporting player. And she's like, oh, is that why you wanted to kill Gary? And then that's pretty much, the end of the trailer. So I don't really know how exactly he's going to get her to turn on. I don't know how they're going to manipulate the situation. I guess it's the best way to put it. because it really doesn't make a lot of sense. But regardless, yeah, that's all I have. The trailer breakdown, top to bottom. Let me know if you're excited in the comment section below. Like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.